Thank you, Guna, for the invitation, and good morning, BNI. Good morning, leaders. Thank you all for joining on this very busy day. Thank you very much. Today, in this leadership education, I'm going to share with you 5 leadership habits that we all need to develop that will help us to grow ourselves as a leader and also help our team, which are working either in our organization or under the chapter where you are governing and helping them to grow the chapter. Okay, so these are the 5 habits which I'm going to share with you. If you are okay, you can take notes, and then at the end of it, if you have any questions, you can also ask any questions. So what are the top 5 great habits? Okay, so these are some of the simple habits which we all can follow, irrespective of where we are in our leadership journey. Okay, number 1, the most important habit that we all must develop, or a habit that we successful leaders always practice, is they are all ready to admit their mistakes. In our WhatsApp group where the executive council is there, Shabari, myself, Biju, and myself, Govind, all 4 of us, non-stop we talk to each other and do commit a lot of mistakes. And I have committed maximum mistakes in that group. And it's nothing wrong in admitting the mistakes, because most people would learn from their mistakes if they weren't so busy denying them. Okay, that's a very famous quote. It's a very powerful quote. Do you all agree with me on that? Because every mistake is nothing but a miss in the take, which helps us to become successful. As leaders of the chapters which you are managing, as the leaders which chapters you are launching or training, or the team in which you are growing your business, we are going to commit lots and lots of mistakes. We all make mistakes, but remember, deciding how to behave after making the mistake is really, really important. Okay, because I believe that saying sorry is not a sign of weakness; it's actually a sign of strength. It tells that you are human, you are vulnerable. Yes, no one is perfect over here. Okay, so mature leaders know this secret and they take responsibility of their mistakes. As leaders of the BNI chapters, we all make a lot of mistakes. Okay, till date, myself and Biju, we have committed lots of mistakes, and because of the mistakes only, it has evolved to this level. Even in BNI, Dr. Ivan Weisner used to say that BNI is 35 years of mistakes. We have evolved and committed, and we have continuously grown and upgraded. So my request to each and one of you, if you are doing a mistake, there's nothing wrong in admitting the mistake. Tell them, hey, I'm sorry, I don't know. Let's see how we can avoid these mistakes in the future. So without making a mistake, there is no another take over there. So that's the number 1 habit that we all need to develop, to admit our mistake. So today, write down 1 action point. Okay, if you have committed any mistakes with your team members, see whether you can list down all the mistakes you have done. And if any mistake is really important to course correct, go ahead and change that particular course of action. So that's number 1 habit that we all need to develop. Number 2 habit is the most important quality that every successful leaders in the world is they follow through a commitment or the word that they have given. Very, very important, because keeping your promises is a sign of integrity. If you have given a word that, yes, I will come and attend a chapter meeting, I will be there in this time. Remember, it's a promise. It's a sign of integrity. If you have committed yourself to something, even if it doesn't make any return on investment, remember, it's return on trust is very, very important. So when you keep your word, people will see the strength, and you will earn their trust. When you say that this time we will have our MC committee meeting, this is the time, let's have an LT meeting. Remember, if you're given a time, please do it. Okay. If by any chance you are not able to appear over there, please do say sorry and say apologies. Say, right now this is happening. Can we move it to a different date or a time? But take the concurrence with everyone, because it's very, very important to stick to a commitment once you have given a word. Because every time you make a promise or any promise, remember, you are making a contract that will result either in a deposit or a withdrawal in a bank called Trust Bank. Yeah, it's a new bank in town, Trust Bank. Every time you make a promise, either you withdraw or deposit. So very, very important is we need to follow through once you make a promise. Okay, even to a member, you say that I'll do a 1-to-1. Please ensure you're doing that 1-to-1. Okay, if you have committed something that, okay, I will be there for this particular meeting, you should be there for that particular meeting. If you can't, don't say no. Okay, if you are very clear in your mind that you cannot be there, learn to say no in your life, because that will help you to earn more trust in your trust bank. So this is the habit number 2. Be very careful when you commit to a word. The minute you have committed, okay, this month I will also bring one visitor. This month I will also induct a new member. Remember, it's a commitment. It's a promise that you are making. Okay. Whenever you're setting a goal, remember you're committing to your leaders also. So whenever you promise something, it's a commitment. It's a contract that will either help you to deposit or withdraw from the trust bank. Remember that. Okay. Third habit is very, very important. As successful leaders in the world, they seek to understand first before they actually be understood. What do I mean by that? Okay. See, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. One of the bad quality of many people is they just listen only, what should I reply back to this person? They're only listening only with the intent to reply. There's a very famous quote from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Because very few people, very few leaders make an effort to actually understand others. Okay, that's one of the most successful habit. And since we in BNI as a leaders, we are continuously listening to the LTs, members, ambassadors, everywhere we are continuously listening. So please listen for the sake of understanding, not to be understood. So you must listen until the other person feels understood. Yes, as a DC or an ambassador, you're going to hear a lot of members' grievances and all. Don't jump in and start giving responses. Okay, hold on, listen completely. Do you know that by 95% of the problems are solved just by listening? Do you agree with that? So it's very, very important when you understand others. That's the key for good, healthy, decision-making process, and actually prevents lots and lots of conflicts. Okay, I have learned this from Biju. Whenever a conflict happens, whenever anyone says that, I have a grievance, I've always seen Biju sincerely listening to it. Okay, he will not give suggestions, he will listen. So that's something which we all have to develop in our life, of just listening to ensure that the other person felt that, yes, they have understood. So this is another habit that we all have to develop. You can apply this particular habit with your children at home, with your spouse, with your team members at office. And remember, when you listen, 95% of the problems can be solved. So this is one habit that we all can develop. The fourth habit is the most important habit in this new hybrid normal world. As leaders, remember, our job is to get things done. Yes, as leaders, we have a lot of priorities and tasks and numbers to chase. But remember, other person is also a human being on the other side. So successful people, they all understand that we need to respect the life of the person outside their work also. Because it's all about, leadership is all about bringing the best in others. Okay, so that's the reason why work-life balance actually starts with leadership itself. Okay, and mature leaders respect the outside of the work in this hybrid new normal world. So non-stop, don't bombard the LTs and members with tasks and numbers and keep only on that. Okay, they also have other life. Okay, sometimes when you see the response is slow, there may be a genuine reason over there. We may have to talk to them, find out what their challenges are. Probably you may have to slow down in some places. There are various times where I have bombarded people with tasks and said that, where is the number? What happened to the results? And there are times I've just slowed down completely. Why? Because I've also done this mistake without even understanding what the other person is going through, bombarded, and later I realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so we all do that. Okay, remember, we all would have done that. But one of the most important things is that we should also see what's happening in the other side of their life, respect their life. And when you start respecting the other side of their work life, you will start earning trust a lot. Okay. The fifth habit is, what is leadership? Leadership is all about getting things done. How do you get things done? Only when you delegate. Okay. But delegation is like pregnancy. 100% pregnant or not at all pregnant. So similarly, when we delegate, remember, we are delegating a lot of our ideas, our thoughts, our tasks to others. But remember, we are delegating them to empower, not to get rid of the task. Why? Because mature leaders work very hard, more than anyone else in the whole team itself. So as a leaders, we are non-stop working at the back end. Okay, some work is thinking work. Okay, most of the leaders at the top, their work is on the thinking level. When they are managers, they end up in doing a lot of on-ground work itself. And remember, delegating responsibility is a process of helping others to grow inside out. Okay, so you may have to, if you see that I have delegated and if the person is not taking action, there are two situations. Either you have delegated to the wrong person or you have delegated to the right person. Probably the person doesn't have the skill sets to complete the job. So that's where our job comes in empowering them. When you empower them, you create more leaders. Okay, because why? Successful leaders create more leaders, whereas ordinary leaders create more followers in our life. So, and once you have delegated, remember, you're delegating 100% control also. So, my final thoughts on this leadership education, remember, we don't have to be perfect always. No one is perfect. Okay, perfectionism is a myth, and we are always evolving from yesterday to today. All you have to ask yourself, am I a better person today than compared to yesterday? And whenever you as a leader, please choose your words wisely. Okay, we may end up in hurting others, or we may think it's a very casual conversation. No, the other person looks at you as a role model, as a leader of the chapter, and they hold your words. And this has happened a lot in my life in BNI itself. I would have just casually uttered one statement in my whole presentation, but that one statement has gone deeper, and they will hold you on that one statement. Okay, so choose your words wisely. Even if you want, talk very slowly, nothing wrong. And our job is to continuously empower others to get things done. And the most important secret is, can we create more leaders in our organization, in our chapter where we are working? Because good leaders create followers, great leaders create more leaders. Okay, so go ahead, comment below. Among these five habits, which one would you like to practice on a daily basis and build a routine, build rituals in your life that can actually help you to become more successful? Go ahead, comment below. Thank you very much for this listening and watching this short presentation. Thank you.